Welcome, and my name is Tracy Creech, or Dr. Tracy Creech, here at Wolfe County School District, and I'm the Director of Special Education for the district. And today I'm going to talk to you about our sustainability plan for our transition program that we are doing, which began a couple years ago through the KVEC Co-op. There was and I'll follow along with my notes here so I don't lose any important details or any information. We began by talking about, I actually got in on the grant program, which is called the ARP Transition Grant Initiative, and it was with the KVEC Co-op. Basically, the ARP Transition Grant Initiative is a grant received by KVEC in partnership with the Office of Special Education and Early Learning, OSEAL, to provide some additional supports in the area of special education transition. And the goal is to build the capacity of the special education teachers in school districts to improve transition services and build teacher understanding of ways to support students in their post-secondary endeavors. So when we began the project, basically we started, and here was the layout of what we did for the transition grant. And we started out by everybody that had signed up when they became a part of the grant, we had to do 6 modules, which focused on transition assessment and post-secondary goals and vocational programs, college entrance, financial aid, disability services, employability, and then bringing it all together at the end. So those were modules that we had to watch and to understand what was going on in our whole co-op area, and as far as transition and employability and opportunities for our students. The next, we actually got together and trained, and we learned about what all that we were going to do for our project, which was we were going to learn how to develop a model plan, and within that we looked at our research data for each district, and we had to examine what our students' needs were for in our district using student surveys from Frisky and end of the year data from students and teachers and parents as to what areas of concern that our students, staff, parents had for our kids transitioning post high school, whether it was career oriented or going on to college or vocational school or whatever. We wanted to know what the needs were and how we could address those. So through our surveys, we then took the data that we found, and our project was to narrow it down to areas or components, areas of student development from the taxonomy for transition. And from our data, we for our model of practice, we chose assessment and employment and occupational skills after our action research, as I could say here, is assessment and employment and occupational skills. The assessment was data-driven curricular and academic instruction, career interests and aptitude, accommodations and modifications, career and vocational interests, and then employment and occupational skills was career planning, employment seeking skills, soft skills, career awareness, work-related experiences, occupation-specific skills development. With those 2 areas for our model of practice, then we set out to develop our actual plan of action for our taxonomy for the student development in those areas. And we developed a plan for each area on what we wanted to do and accomplish for our actual initiative for the ARP Transition Grant. And we developed upon a plan, and basically our plan to address assessment was that we wanted to have devices, tools for our district to use in order for our staff and students to be assessed or assess themselves on what their interests were, what their skills were, that were needed. We wanted to know what they knew and what they didn't know, and just basically get a baseline for where to begin for the students for transitioning activities for the students. And as a district, we looked at several different programs, but we chose one of them. We went with for an assessment purpose. Was we took a look at the Brigance, and we really liked it. This is the Brigance Transition Skills Inventory 2. It is a comprehensive program that I've got a rundown on it here that I can tell you exactly what it is. That way I don't mess up on exactly what the program does. Okay. The Brigance Transition Skills Inventory 2 assessment system is a collection of assessments designed to identify each student's unique transition goals and monitor progress towards these goals. The inventory consists of more than 100 assessments to support formal transition planning for middle and high school students as they prepare for life after high school. The TSI-2 can be used to pinpoint present levels of performance and to write goals for transition planning, which was another need that the district had with being able to write better present levels of performance and goals, post-secondary goals for our students. And this program has the ability to help our staff to be able to write better goals that meet our children's specific needs. And it also has a Transition Skills Activities 2. The TSA-2 consists of 180 activity linked to select assessments found in the TSI. And those activities offer modifications to fit diverse interests and ability levels. Accessible from a digital resource library, the TSA-2 enables educators to easily find the activities that best fit each student's needs. And to take a look at the kit, it's an assessment that is done one-on-one with a student, and it's kind of like the other testing that you do with Kaufman and things like that for academics. However, it's broken down into skill levels for career awareness. It is broken into post-secondary pathways, and the pathways are self-determination, communication, and organizational skills, job-seeking skills, and technology. And then, of course, it goes into independent living skills that deals with health, food, money, housing, travel, and transportation. The post-secondary pathways for self-determination has assessments for self-awareness, identifying interests, identifying preferences, advocating for self-needs, developing a vision for the future, setting goals, and then for communications, general speaking skills, listening skills, speaking skills, soft skills, and assessments for organizational skills and rating skills. Some of the areas that we have been using and we really like are the identifying interests. And if you can see, here is a form that the students can actually use to fill out, or a staff member can actually interview the children and ask the questions. And some of the questions are things like, what do you like to do? What are your hobbies? What do you enjoy learning about? What are your favorite things in the world? What do you do with your free time? What are your favorite subjects in school? What other interests do you have? And then they can branch out on the different questions for the students to kind of get their mind thinking about what things they might be interested in doing after high school. Another section that is used quite a bit is our job interview. And the actual job interview has a has questions that you ask the kids, and then you check them off to see how they actually do on there. It says, it's like a mock interview. Tell me about yourself. How did you hear about this job? Tell me about your educational background. Tell me about your educational, well, I said that one. Tell us about your educational background. Do you plan to continue your education? How and when? Why are you interested in working here? What are your strengths? What are your goals? What are your weaknesses? What can you offer that someone else can't offer at this job? Just things like that to get the children used to, or the kids used to actually interviewing if they go for a job. But it's a mock interview type things. And it comes with actual student booklets that you record the responses in here, and then you can go back over it with them again and then keep practicing and you can keep notes on how they do on each area and let the kids know how they performed and maybe make some goals. But the really good thing is about it also it also gives you guidelines for writing the IEP objective. So it actually gives you an objective to go along that you could actually write into the actual IEP for the child. If this is an area that you're focusing on. So it kind of takes the hard work out of it, by giving you goals and objectives that you can actually include into your IEPs for the children also. So that's one of the reasons that we really liked the program, is it was so user-friendly, and it gave us the information we needed to also plug into our IEPs and to help our children to understand more about themselves, more about getting jobs or going to college or post-secondary opportunities for the kids. But it's called, again, Brigant's Transition Skills Inventory 2. And I purchased these for all of my high school staff, special ed teachers, the community work transition specialists that we have. And I think I just an extra copy at each school just in case they had another person that could help assess the students individually as well. And then another program that we looked at was and it's online, but I have information here, was the Conover program. And the number one thing that got my attention whenever I discovered the Conover program was, right off the bat, it says that employability and foundation academic standards go along with our alternate assessment for Kentucky. So it's already aligned with what we are required to be teaching for our students for the alternate assessment for the Kentucky standards for employability and the functional academics also. So that was a plus for me. Another thing that I liked about the Conover program was that it's a token system. It's not like you pay a certain amount of money for a year's subscription. You purchase so many tokens, and those tokens last forever until the teachers and the students use them up. So there's not a timeline. If you purchase 100 and you only use 15, then you've still got the remaining amount for however long you want to use. So there's not a timeline. It's points or a token system to use. And each program that the child gets into and actually works through take so many tokens. And so we assign so many tokens to each teacher. That way we have a fair program. Everybody knows how many tokens that the district has and pretty much what area and who is using what. The Conover program addresses, it does interest inventories. It assesses where the skills are for the students. It also does workplace readiness, personal responsibility, success profiler, anxiety management, anger management, bullying prevention, and functional skills system. And it's all online and self-paced for career exploration and assessment, social emotional learning, and soft skills, and independent living skills. Basically, it's kind of, it does a type of assessment and gives you a report for the children that you can print out on where they are and what their interests are that you can use in developing their IEPs, goals, and objectives. Then on top of that, it kind of narrows down to whatever subject or area that they're interested in and has modules for these students to actually practice in and role play to see if that's something that they're really interested in a career. You know, like if they say they wanted to work in a restaurant, then they have the opportunity to pretend that they are a waitress in a restaurant and setting tables and all the terminology that goes along with being a waitress and the things that they do, or if they wanted to be a chef. And then they actually have an additional program that you could purchase along to go with the online, that you could buy a restaurant kit that actually has silverware, placemats, plates, and the things that you would use to actually practice if you were a waitress in a restaurant, things like that. So can be hands-on, realistic, or currently we're only using the actual online program, but I think some of our staff have actually gathered some things that they had that goes along with some of the modules for the kids to simulate with. It's a really good program. We really like it. Basically, it gives you reports on which kids have logged in, how long they've been on there, which staff have assigned their kids in there, which staff are actually using it, which are not. And then you get individual reports on the students as well. So that's a really good plus for the program, for us to keep up with what's going on, if it's being used, and if the kids are participating and enjoying it also. From that, those are the things that we chose, along with for our employment and for the occupational skills. Things that we incorporated into our school system is working with community partners to offer more opportunities for our students. And some of the people in the community that we have partnered with for the opportunities is our Community Work Transition Program, and our Youth Service Center staff, the Career Technical Ed staff, and I should add in, for our career and technical education staff, they also have access to the Conover program and the Brigant System program too. So if students are in their classes and they're struggling, or they want to venture out on a limb and do more investigating in something they've offered in the shop class or something, then they can allow the kids to get on to the Conover and do an additional exploration on that type of career that's within their program also. So we allow our other staff to have access to the program as well. And then we have our community colleges and our 4-H extension offices, local business partners, and then we have partners for rural impact that do things for our students for job seeking and job skills. Wolfe County JAG, Lee County ATC, the Wolfe County Farm Bureau, Morehead State University Talent Search, the HCTC Dual Credit Program, Full Service Community Schools. We have the Wolfe County High School Project Navigate, and the Job Corps, and the Army National Guard, and of course a vocational rehab that we work with also. And the type of things that we use our partners for are to help us to schedule field trips and provide guest speakers, career vocational college information packets, parent and student surveys, interest and inventories, and schedule job interviews and job shadowing, internship, employment opportunities, job offerings, documented job shadows, internships, timesheet evaluations, student employment, paid and non-paid employment work experience, and of course community work-based experiences also. All of our partners in our community have been wonderful to come in and provide activities in our schools for our kids, or to help set up an experience for the kids to go out to their locations to experience working there, or some type of simulation of work experience or college experience. So we've had really good success with that as well. As far as our sustainability for our transition grant, one thing we focused on was making sure that any new staff every year was trained on the programs of Conover and the Brigance, so that any new person on board is aware of it, knows it's available, and we get them trained so they can use it with the kids also. We work with the kids, the new freshmen or 7th and 8th graders, and let them know about the programs and the availability as well. We try to use the data, not always successful, but our goal is to use the students' data that we're collecting from Conover and from the Brigance to use that to build their schedules throughout the school day and the school years and their career, freshman through high school, freshman through senior year, to actually develop classes that are geared towards what they want to do post-secondary after high school. We schedule a lot of trainings for the staff in order to keep them updated on the programs. We allow time for students to actually be assessed. Our community work transition person also works with staff to help evaluate the students, also to collect the data and to share it with Voc Rehab. She partners with Voc Rehab to bring those on board and help with our special ed staff to make the connection for our kids for Voc Rehab services and any other services. Trying to think. Our goal is for students to increase their interest, abilities, and skills needed. And student class schedules are geared towards each student's needs. Written post-secondary goals are better written than what we had in the past. And we try to use this data to write our goals because it's student-oriented on how they are perceiving what they want to do. And one of the ways that we are making sure that our sustainability plan is being successful is that we are surveying our students after each program or activity that they're involved in, just to get a knowledge of where they were but prior to the program and then after the experience, their knowledge skill base. And it's just a simple little survey that we send out to them. It's basically what district are you? Who's your teacher? What grade? And what area was the development area, like employment or assessment? And rate your knowledge of the subject before you attended this program, and then rate your knowledge of the subject after you attended the program. And then KVC Co-op has been wonderful to help generate our data to let us know how our kids are beforehand and afterhand. So it looks like our students have gained knowledge from some of the experiences that they've had that the school districts and the community partners have provided for our students. So that's one way that we are making sure that we're doing what's needed and that we're staying on top of things that need to be addressed for our students. So basically, I guess to sum this up, we are keeping up our sustainability plan. We are continuing with the Conover program. We are continuing with the Brigance, and we are increasing our community partnerships and involvement. And we've seen a growth in the people in the community getting involved and a growth in the students getting involved. And basically, we are on a roll and hope to do bigger and better things for our students. Thank you.